Hey guys, welcome back to another What If here. Today we are doing another new What If, because, well, why not? And I've seen this type of What If, so I can around generally added on to by neglect by family or whatever. And as you can see in the title and, well, right in front of you right now, it says what if Naruto was neglected. It'd be what if he was neglected by, his family villagers. Well, they're gonna be, they're still gonna hate him. Anyway, he'll also, parents will be alive for reasons I will explain. Kushina will survive due to a trick this Shinigami did, but it was more so, say, like, the Shinigami could tell that, knew something was going to happen, and he could have Shinigami himself could have let Kushina, say, have another maybe 2-3 hours with her 3 babies, or let her live until she goes to the Shinigami of old age, which that's what she tries to do, and thus, because she would have 3 children, and the third Hokage would still do the sealing. So Naruto is the oldest, and so he would have the spirit of Kurama sealed inside of him. The second, or the middle child, is should be called Mito. Yeah, because obviously that was Kushina's. Well, Kushina I would call her Mito in remembrance of her sensei, the girl that helped, the one that helped her out and to adjust to going to be the next Kyuubi Jinshoku of the Fox. Though she'd also grown attached to the Fox. Well, yeah, I'll explain that later on. Just Kushina and Kurama have got a friendship. Kurama has told her his actual name, so yeah. Anyway, and so Mito would get the yin half. Because it would be splitting yin yang, just the chakra. So she would get the yin and her, their younger brother out of the 3. Would get the yang, and he is called, he'd be called Minato. Yes, I'm gonna explain why now. For one, obviously I've got a brother that actually named after my dad, so my dad and my brother both share the same name, and so I thought, why not here, though my brother is the oldest out of me and my sister, so yes. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. And, in this timeline, Naruto's going to look more like Kushina, and when I mean more like, I mean he'll have blonde hair for now, and I'll explain in a couple of minutes why. But yeah, Naruto currently, he'll have 3 whisker marks, but they'll disappear in the next year or 2 due to the lack of him not really having Kurama's chakra, and thus they would actually just fade and disappear, though they're still hypersensitive. He'll still have, obviously, strong hearing, smell, and sight, just like he does in canon, due to the fact he still has the Nine Tails inside of him, and, well, the spirit. And so he would also have larger reserves, and also he'll have even more larger reserves, to the fact he is, well, it'd be like, he is pretty much, like, if you were to do blood test, it would pretty much read, like, full Uzumaki, though he isn't. He's half Uzumaki, though the Uzumaki genes are in full bloom. It's just the red hair, the blonde hair is more so, or you could say die out. After some amount of time, it will start dying out. So his hair, after a certain amount of time, will slowly start turning red. Anyway, so he'd pretty much look like a mini Kushina, violet eyes, though he, Naruto being male, he'll though have a feminine body. Or like female, though he is male. Obviously, then there is Mito, who's kind of a mix in between them. So she would have one violet eye and one blue eye. One violet eye and one blue eye, and her hair would be it'd be kind of a mix of red and yellow in it. So a bit of red, a bit of yellow, and a bit of orange. Though it's not like in, say, sections. It's not like in 3 sections. One's red, one's yellow, one's orange. No, it's more so just a, kind of mix of all 3. So, yeah. And then there is, obviously, the youngest, which they decided, more so Minato himself decided to call Minato. They would generally call him little Minato, due to the fact, well, he has blonde spiky hair, blue eyes, just like his father. Well, he just exactly look like a carbon copy of his dad, just plus 3 risk marks. And Minato also has 3 risk marks, so the younger 2 will have and the risk marks for life, due to the fact they have Kuma's chakra in them and circulating, so the risk marks would be there, though Naruto's one, as I said, will fade. So, yes. Anyway, so we would say 6-year-old blondish redhead running home. Well, blondish redhead running home to, or at least what looks like he's running home, but in reality he's running, or he'd pass houses and that, and then he'd stop in a field. This person is none other than Naruto Uzumaki. He likes to call himself an Uzumaki due to his hair actually going red, unlike his brother, his younger brother and sister, who both call themselves obviously now Kaze Uzumaki, though Naruto only calls himself an Uzumaki because, his dad and his sister and brother really don't like him. In others, they neglect him. They don't care about him. Like, anytime Minato, obviously he can understand why his Kushina, why his car-son doesn't really train him in front of everyone. It's because Mina, he had overheard him and his two sons, Minato, his cousin Kushina, and who he had called Pervy Sage. I forgot his name. Yes, Pervy Sage. Dwyer told him that I was the child of prophecy, and that either Mito or little Minato would be the child of prophecy, and so those two should focus on those. They had thought they had convinced Kushina, though she could tell Naruto was watching and listening. The other two couldn't, but she could, and obviously she knew, and she was planning on going to Naruto anyway. But yeah, and Naruto obviously said, "Son, go fine. I'll only teach those two." Which when it's her time to train them, she's really seemingly only training those two, though every night she's training. She trains Naruto, or trains with Naruto even sometimes. Yeah, because a year ago when Naruto was 6, his hair was had 20% red in it, which was more like Kushina's colour of red hair. The only thing I would say, minus his blonde hair, because he's got straight blonde hair, minus the blonde hair, and you'd have a literal Kushina standing right in front of you. Just imagine that. Yeah. And so, Naruto was obviously this was in school, as Iruka had asked them to do the transformation jutsu, as they were told to start kind of teaching them early and to help them out where they needed help, because the children from the clans could have a lot more chakra and thus need more help, and so doing it earlier on in their career helps out. And plus the children then with the children that may a civilian child that has very high jump cells could also get help using tree walking, and then in their last year they learn water walking to just obviously get better chakra control. So anyway, so Iruka, Naruto volunteered to do the transformation, though Naruto for the first time, as you could look at Naruto and I'd go, "Just let me do it one more time." Iruka said, so as you'd go, "It's fine, as you go, "Fine, Naruto, you can do it one more time," as you then almost unconsciously go and do the hand sign for the shadow clone jutsu, as you could see this as he was about to stop Naruto, and Naruto transform, as once the smoke had cleared in front of everyone after smoke cleared in front of them, where Naruto was standing, was now Iruka. There were two perfect Irukas. So Iruka had been gobsmacked, then kind of walked over and trailed across his skull and realised it all felt real. This was no normal henge or illusion. Naruto then dispelled it, as he would say, "Good job, Naruto." And the rest, he then went back to his seat, and Iruka carried on. Though when it's the end of the day, Naruto went to the training ground, trained for a bit, went home, had kind of dinner, then he would leave again, which was quite normal for him. Yeah, no dude asked him where he's going at this time of night, because no dude would really care. Kushina knew where he was going. And so once Naruto was there, and a couple minutes later, after Kushina had kind of like gone to the back and made a shadow clone and had sent the shadow clone back inside Shid. Then I went that and Shid obviously asked Naruto how was his day at school. As Naruto would explain that his teacher Iruka Sensei told him that he'd look surprised when he did the transformation jutsu. Kushina was was intrigued as like she knew of the henge but not of the transformation jutsu. What was this jutsu? She'd go, Naruto, do you mean the henge is not to go? Huh? No, the transformation. Well, well, yeah, I guess so, kind of. I don't know. It's like, look, as Naruto would once again do the hand signs for his transformation as Kushina, just like Iruka, was about to cut him off, but obviously after a while Naruto then kind of transform, but obviously because they go to that secret training ground, which is pretty much underground, which has got seals which stop. So Namdi would say you could literally say you used four nine tails chakra and Namdi would know. And you could scream for as loud as you want, Namdi would know. Namdi would hear or know. As there's a silencing seal and a chakra suppression seal. So yeah, you don't have to worry. And after the smoke had cleared, in front of Kushina would be Kushina. As that go out, see Carson, this is kind of what I mean. If I do the normal hands, I can't do this. Huh? My voice sounds just like yours. Huh, it happened again. This is go, what do you mean again? Well, when I did the transformation a second time, my voice was like Iruka's, and now this time my voice is like yours. I should go, huh? I should go, well, can I try something now? As well, can I try something Naruto, as Naruto would nod and go, sure, Carson, as Kushina would kind of brighten up and immediately kind of like grope Naruto's chest. Naruto, yeah. And she'd go, these are real, I can actually feel them, huh? Guess this is what my breasts feel like. She'd keep on doing it and thinking for a couple more minutes until I'd go, Hassan, can you stop? As it would break her out, as she'd go, right, sorry, now again, as she'd see as Naruto, transformed into Kushina, would be panting a bit, as though she could also smell something. She being was Kuma's Jinchuriki and thus also had heightened senses. So she can obviously smell, like she could smell that Naruto was definitely probably maybe close to having an orgasm, so she'd get a mysterious, she'd kind of get a smirk on her as Naruto really wouldn't see it, as she'd go, Naruto, I want to try something else, okay? As Naruto would just like nod and go, okay, Carson, between pants, as then Kushina would go up and after kind of taking off the underwear, which you could also feel was physical, or at least just pulling them down and playing with. And after playing down below with Naruto, after a couple of seconds, Naruto would let out a scream that something was coming, as after pretty much getting a mouthful, which she would wonder if this is what her juices, to say lack of a word, juices tasted like, and so she'd think, well, I guess next time, well, I guess I can always try and place myself and do something to taste it. Anyways, she would, and they would taste the same. So yeah. Anyway, after after a good 5-10 minutes, Naruto would kind of start to kind of regain motor functions and that, and she would explain to Naruto what he'd just been through, and after that, and after also asking Kushina what the shadow clones were, and after the first try, which the clone had asked his boss if he could dispel, because the clone was about to throw up, and Naruto would then after Kushina telling him to put more chakra into it, and told him there is no such thing as an overload on the shadow clone. So Naruto would just go, and Naruto, after Kushina saying that, Naruto asked, well, how do you make more than one? She would go, just think of the amount of shadow clones you want, though I would suggest keeping it at 3,000 at your, because I'd say you can probably, your max, you could probably make 4,000 clone max, though they would be, you and the clones would be useless. They'd literally just be punching bags, and not good ones at that, because one good punch and they will poof, though. So that's why I'm saying, if you make 3,000 clones, you'll be able to maybe use 2-3 A rank jutsus before the clones dispel. As Naruto would nod, and then after his second, he would try it again, and he would succeed on his second go. So yeah, anyway, yeah, and so yeah, and Naruto would be running. Well, Naruto would kind of get to the secret training ground, as Naruto really doesn't bother now, kind of walking home. So yeah, and Kushina generally always sends a clone now, to kind of meet the others and to prepare dinner, while she's generally now kind of in the training, or in the private training ground, as should be looking at, should go, well, I guess today Naruto I will train you in waterfall walking. As Naruto go, what waterfall walking? What? It's I know, obviously you've mastered water walking, and so this is the next step. All Uzumakis, obviously before Uzugaki was destroyed, could walk on waterfalls, could walk up a waterfall, and even stand sideways without sliding or falling off a waterfall. So, yes. And this is a hard thing to do, so don't be disappointed. And Naruto would nod. They'd also kind of experimented within that year of on Naruto's transformation, seeing like obviously Kushina would have they would obviously see if it was a one hit thing after, though which was true, though she was kind of confused on why like Nato could go through an orgasm just fine and yet be hit once and then the transformation would be dispelled. So they were working on kind of that slight issue, but also like Naruto had also tried a bird and had to learn how to fly. Though Naruto can now fly as a bird, though any bird he transforms into, if it's a new bird he does know how to fly in, he will have to learn how to, because like in different, obviously, because different species of birds, like say obviously are different weights and fly differently. So yeah, Naruto kind of also learn how to well, also he could already, but also doing that day, Kushina had pretty much told Naruto to transform into himself, but like at Kushina height, and that in others to transform into, say, her, but keep all your features the same, so your hair, eye, and everything just say as a taller, older female, which Naruto would do. And so also through the year they'd worked on Naruto's like voice, feminine voice also. And Naruto had also shown her and kind of teach her how to do the transformation, so they both can do it. Now though, they kind of keep it secret because, well, they don't exactly want Nomdi knowing about it right now. Because otherwise, once people start knowing, people can be demanding that they teach them it. So, yeah. Anyway. And so, yeah, so after around a month of trial and error, Naruto would finally get waterfall walking, and after another, no, like during the first week of trial and error, Naruto would finally get, and it would take him another 3 weeks to be able to fully walk up and down the waterfall. He hasn't yet mastered it, but he's getting there. He can fight for a couple of minutes before falling or even starting to slide down it. So yeah, anyway, and well, yeah, and just getting a year later, Naruto would now be 8, and during that 8th birthday, well, just like every kind of birthday they've had, Kushina, not Kushina, wrong person, wrong female, can't remember her name, Tsunade, and her apprentice Suzuno would kind of come down and like see the three. Though Tsunade's not really, it's not that close to Mito and little Minato, though she's quite close to Naruto. Yeah, pretty much calling Naruto pretty much like a mini Kushina. Yeah, which Naruto, well, obviously it kind of said that as a joke, though Naruto had taken it less as a joke and more as a compliment. As he liked the way his mum looked, so yeah. Which both females were, well, the 3 females there had kind of stepped back because obviously you'd be there and also see well, like on their birthday, she would generally see Mito and little Minato and check up on them. Then the day after, she would generally spend the whole day with Naruto and Kushina. So yeah, and well, Minato, big Minato. The Yellow Flash would announce on the 8th birthday that little Minato would be the heir to the Namikaze clan. Technically, there is no Namikaze, but due to the fact he's a Hokage, and that if you're a Hokage and you're not from a clan, then you're immediately kind of instated into a clan, or your last name is made like other clan, and obviously you'd need 5 members to make the clan official. So he'd named the kind of successor of his kind of pseudo clan for now, little Minato. He had then kind of gestured to Kushina to go up next. Kushina had just said that she had not decided yet, which the civilians didn't really understand why, though the people from the Ninja Council had very much understood why, because she's a Uzumaki. They live up until they're around 200 years old, so they don't need to they don't really need to call out and add to the clan yet, though it's generally one member of the royal family, and it's generally they could have, say, triplets, and it'd be which one, obviously, say in Kusuna's case, it'd be which one of her children have the clan's Geki Genkai, be it healing bite or chains or both. Though healing chain, the Uzumaki chains will come above the healing bite, because the Uzumaki chains or adamantine chains are just a lot more useful than the bite. So yes, and so obviously, and she had known that Naruto has the chains, as quite conveniently doing when he was around 7.5 years old. Kushina had kind of slipped, and it was dark night, and it was kind of a bit slippery on the head. She had kind of slipped off, though Naruto's kind of instincts to try and grab onto her and save her. Obviously, Naruto was a bit too late, though a chain had shot out of his hand and wrapped around her. And obviously, to keep Naruto from going with her, 2 chains had shot from his back and dug into the ground to keep him anchored. And his chains, obviously, there's kind of there's only 2 stages to the chains. There's only a red chain, which is shown to be weaker, though after training with it, you can get it to the matured golden state. For Naruto, though, it had been golden already, which obviously was the same for Kushina. She's an exception, and so is Naruto. Kushina, Uzumaki standard chakra reserves at birth were generally low genin. Kushina was born with high genin reserves. Naruto was born with mid to high tuning reserves. Yeah, which had surprised her quite a lot to know that her child, that Naruto was very much following in her footsteps. Yeah. And, well, yeah. So that's how she had known since that day. She was helping and training Naruto. Like, obviously, she was training Naruto in skills like his brother and sister. Though his brother and sister are, say, around level 4 now, whereas Naruto is a level 8. Like level 8 in standard ceiling and in Uzumaki ceiling. Well, his brother and sister haven't gotten started yet. Because it's still kind of too advanced for them yet. Though Naruto is a level 2 in Uzumaki ceiling. So, yes. Because, like anything that the Uzumakis were good at, Naruto had taken it up like a sponge and was either good or brilliant at. So, yeah. And, well, yeah, anyway, back to the 8th birthday. After that, Minato, while doing, say, some bedtime activities, I'm not really going to say what, though the older people of you guys can probably imagine what I mean. Though Minato had slowly gotten rougher throughout the kind of month. Though Kushina could still have an orgasm, though she could tell the orgasm was taking, it was taking longer and longer for her to have an orgasm. Because if Minato was having a bad day, she could have maybe 1 orgasm. If Minato was having a good day, she could have maybe 2 or 3 during that session. Though this time she had no orgasm, she had just pure pain. Actually, instead of she had 0 pleasure at all, she had pure pain. So after Minato, just like almost every time before then, had passed out. And after removing herself from him, she could still feel she was wet, so she'd kind of put her hand down below to see what it was. Was it water? Was it something else? Once she had lifted her hand up into light, it was red, it was blood. She'd quickly just something down there to absorb the blood that was coming out, and had quickly gotten dressed and had then shot over to the Senju compound after pretty much nearly breaking the door down. Shizune had opened the door very tight. It was around 1 at night, 1 a.m. And Shizune said, Lady Krishna, how may I help you at this time of night? As she'd go, as they would kind of be in a panic and being angry that Minato had drawn blood from her, had yelled at her by mistake, but had still yelled at her and said, "Get me Tsunade. I need Tsunade right now." As obviously Susan had immediately woken up, because she had known, like, every time she'd met Kushina, she'd never yelled at the girl, and so she'd guessed the only time she'd be yelled at by Kushina is if Kushina, either she'd done something very bad to upset her, or that she was in a lot of pain and needed the best medic, or was worried about something. So she immediately said, go into the living room, I'll go and get Lady Tsunade right now. And she had vanished right then after that. So Kushina had immediately walked in, shut the door, taken off her shoes, and had then walked to the living room. Tsunade, well, after kind of waking up groggily, she says, what's the time? She's like, 1 a.m. Tsunade Sama Lady Kushina says she seems to be quite angry about something and possibly panicked. As Tsunade would immediately snap to attention and she'll go, where is she? And she's gonna go in the living room / front room, as said Tsunade would immediately throw on some clothes and get there. It wasn't well, she had known that if she was yelling at like Shizune, it was pretty important to be up at 1 a.m. to get her up at 1 a.m. to figure out what was wrong. She'd after getting in, had asked her what was wrong, and she had kind of explained that they were obviously having some fun time, and that just like other times before, Minto had passed out, though this time Minto was a lot rougher and it caused her only pain, and she was bleeding. She wanted to know, like, why was the blood coming from? Was it further in? Did Minto had actually damaged her enough that she couldn't have children anymore? After hearing that, Tsunade had immediately shot over and had started healing, or it first diagnosed and then it started healing her. During the healing, she had told Kusuno that yes, it is that is kind of bad, though you don't have to worry, you can still very much have children. And that should up to her that she could extract the semen out of it, which Kusuno had very much said yes to immediately. And so after a minute of healing, which once that was all done, she'd extracted it, though she'd warned Kusuno that it would be very sensitive for a good week or two. Kusuno would nod as she'd sign, as she'd go, well, I guess I can pretty much officially leave Minato, and I can officially leave Minato, Mito and little Minato now. As so I'd go, what do you mean? How can you? You'd be. It's like I won't be violating any Uzumaki law. The Uzumaki laws or rules are the clan laws are. The Uzumaki clan law is stated that if in my offence, so if my husband does any type of damage to me and draws blood, I can leave him. If we have children, then the children would have to go to a court, and obviously it'd be, either one of us could have them. But if we have a trio, if I gave birth to twins or triplets, because I gave birth to triplets, it'd be, do say those two and mean to neglect one of them, and if they do, then one neglected will come with me, as Tsunade would go, wait, so then that means, As Kushina would go, yeah, it seems like Minto just given me the thing I needed to take Naruto with me. Leave them, I can banish, which I'll do tomorrow. I'll make it an annunciation that I'll banish that Mito and that are banished from the clan. I'll pretty much reveal what the three and what even what Dryad forced me to do. What do you mean, Dryad? Like what do you mean? What about Dryad? What does Dryad have to do with this? Well, well, 4 years ago when they were all 4 years old, he'd come round to talk about the Child of Prophecy because more information had been told, and he'd said that either Mito or little Minato would be the one of the two to be the Child of Prophecy, and that we should focus training on them and leave Naruto until, say, after the academy, once he becomes a genin. Let's say if he had so-called passed, but Naruto had overheard I'd already planned on I was going to train the three, but after hearing this, and I could sense Naruto was watching, though the other two seemed that they couldn't, but I could understand Uzumakis are quite good at hiding when they want to. Tsunade had kind of chuckle and nod in agreement. No, that was very true. Known just how good Naruto was good at hiding. As she'd go, well, yeah, and well, after that, I was kind of against it, though they'd kind of so-called forced me to agree, so I agreed, but as you know, me and Naruto get along very well, and the reason why is because during daytime I train those two, but during the night, so when they're in school and Minato is in the office, though just before they get home, I'll make a shadow clone. I'll go to our secret training area, and then I'll train Naruto whilst my shadow clone greets the other two and makes them dinner and trains them. As soon I'd go, that's kind of a good idea. It's like, yeah, also, Naruto, it seems like Naruto's, last week was Naruto's last prank day, as, I want to leave with him. I will tell them, obviously stuff, and I'll be, being divorced from Minto, and then we'll leave. Well, we weren't even really technically married. We were really only married technically by name. We were never officially married. And yeah. Instead I'd carry on talking about some other stuff, and then, Kushina would then go home and kind of wake up Naruto. She'd then tell Naruto not kind of what happened, but just kind of enough stuff so that Naruto could get a rough picture, though she'd kind of forgotten that a rough picture to everyone else was a very clear picture to Naruto, as Naruto then looked at Kushina and said, so that hurt you? He really did. He drew blood, as as he would like about to almost rub, well, not really rub, but just almost touch around that area on Kushina, though. Should go, don't worry, Naruto, it's already been healed, though it'd be sensitive for a week or two, but thanks to that, as it then hit Naruto, as it go, wait, so what's going to happen now? Are we leaving, or was it go, yes, we'll be leaving tomorrow, Naruto. So, like, well, I know you're pretty much packed, like, you know, you always are, you always have everything packed in the seal, don't you? As Naruto go, well, yeah, of course. But, like, if we're not staying here, then what are we going to? Well, tonight, tonight we'll all sleep in the Senju compound, and the next day we'll all wander about. I don't know where we'll go, Naruto, but I can promise you this: you will become a ninja. Be it I don't know from what country or where, but you will become a ninja. Is Naruto go, well, how about after 4 years, because I'll be 12, how about we then come back to Leaf and, like, upcoming ninja of his, like, you sure, Naruto, you really sure you want to come back here after everything they have forced me and done to you? It's not going well. What about, it's like, once we've settled down in the village or wherever, then we can say bring everyone that was close to us to over there, if they obviously, well, if they want to. As Naruto sign, Naruto nod as he'd go, wait, how about well, she'd go, maybe Naruto, maybe. And that's where I'm going to end it here, guys. So, if you guys have enjoyed this new possible, like, seriously, if you want part 2, tell me in the comments down below and hit the like button. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed it, like, if you enjoyed it, so channel, see more just like this, subscribe. I see you guys in the next part of it here, or what if, depending on what I do. And hey, good bye.